Hey y'all, it's Holly. I'm finally back and finally got around to No Time to Die. I really liked it. Um, I'm actually surprised how much I liked it. I think it did help that I took like 2, 3 weeks off in between because I was getting burnt out on them. But this one is really good. Um, I'm curious on where it's going to place on my ranking of Craig movies, but it's definitely better than Spectre. And I don't want to say I like it more than Skyfall, but I feel like it does some things better. Not better, but like I don't know. Um, but basic plot: uh, Bond is like retired. He's living with Madeline for a little bit, but then Spectre gets in the way because Spectre's gonna Spectre. They separate. 5 years pass. Bond gets embroiled in this new villain, Lucifer Saverin, and has to say Madeline in the world and blah 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 blah. Um, here's the thing. There's a lot of things I do like about it, and um, I would say it's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's definitely bits where sorry, still a little gunky. There's definitely bits where you can tell that like multiple writers and script changes happened. Um, Especially on how it's presented. So I don't know how well known this is, but this was either going to be I think this first started off as like a reboot or a remake of Doctor No. And then that got changed and it kind of became like a pseudo sequel. And then somewhere in the line that got changed, but they kept a lot of that there. And it became what we see now. The Doctor No stuff's very apparent. The opening titles begin with the little bubbles that the same opening titles of Doctor No did. Um, Saverin's wearing a no mask. Okay, yeah. And he lives on an island that's full of like acid. There's like an acid pool and someone gets melted. That's very Doctor No-y. It was a huge Asian vibe. And it's like part in Japan and stuff. Although Doctor No is more Jamaica, but they take place in Jamaica too. The other movie, there's three Bond movies in particular that this takes from. Um, Doctor No, to a lesser extent, you only live twice. Um, in the sense that it takes very little from it, but the point that it does take is the idea of the poison garden. That wasn't in the movie itself, but it was in the book. Where Saverin has this garden full of poisonous plants and other things. Same basic idea that was in the book that Blofeld had. Um, and then it also takes heavy inspiration from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And this one was now. This one is kind of a combo with Spectre, because Spectre had the snow layer and him falling in love and finding love and stuff. This one has the ending essentially, but reversed. They even have the same lines, meaning had we have all the time in the world. It ends with the same song, the All Time in the World song. Um, and I like how it does that. I like how this is it's a weird cap like ending to both like it's a sort of it's weird. It's referencing and like finishing off and like circling back to it's doing all three of the not quite last movies, but last good movie of Connery. So like he begins with Doctor No, like because Connery began with Doctor No, and while his last movie, his last first last movie was You Only Live Twice. Um, But then this also pretty much does the whole On Her Majesty's thing being Lazenby. So it kind of like brings that all back to like full circle in a way. And I like that. Like it has a good finale ending. Um, I'm torn on the thing about I'm not okay. So I get why Bond died. I get why like they want to do that because it's like a definite end. If they want to do it again, they don't have any more baggage. Repeat, like reboots, fine. Like I get it. Bond's been loosely uh held to like some baggage, like all the other previous Bonds before Craig had like some kind of very loose continuity. Um, and that sometimes worked, sometimes was just ignored. So I get it, in a way. The thing I'm not a huge fan of, and I wish like it was an either or thing, is Felix's death. Um, I'd much rather prefer, and I'm maybe in this next go around, whenever that happens, we'll see Felix slowly lose bits of himself while dealing with Bond because I found that really funny. Um, but I always got the feeling that like within the books that there's three ways out of the spy business, but two kind of preferable in a weird way to Bond. One, you get injured enough that you pretty much have to take a desk job, like kind of what happened to Felix. You retire on your own and you become higher up, like an M kind of level position, which I feel like that's the one he wouldn't want at all because he didn't really like the paperwork aspect. Or you die in the field. Um, in the books, it varied on like there's times where I got the feeling that he would rather die. There's other times where like you can see him being like, yeah, I'm content just vibing in whatever area I'm in, just having breakfast, chilling, eating a bunch of eggs, drinking more eggs, that kind of stuff. Um, so like I wish like in this movie, like Felix got injured and he retired and Bond died, or vice versa. So like it's like the two ways out. Um, but I get it. Um, Anna de Armas' character was cute. Like that was fun. A little bit of like, because you expect like she to be the sacrifice girl, which didn't happen. There was no sacrifice girl. Bond only slept with Madeline. She survived. That was nice. That's a good change of pace. I feel like that was one of the biggest changes the Craig movies made. Is that there were movies where he didn't sleep with a girl, or there wasn't a sacrifice girl, which is good. That's interesting. I do like that. Um, M being more classic, kind of dark M is nice. Like, hiding a secret kind of thing. When I say classic, he falls more in line with Judi Dench M, but it feels like something that would have been in the later books too. That he had some involvement with trying to shut down Spectre and stuff, with the Heracles virus. Um, Q scene's nice. Moneypenny's great. I do like what's her face as the new 007. Um, Things are being slow right now. Do 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 do. Um, there we go. Maybe that'll work better. Uh, Lash- Lashana Lynch. Lashana. Lashana? Not Lashana. Um, Sorry, really bad pronouncing names, but she was good. Um, there was a bit of chip on her shoulder kind of thing, which I can see the grifters at the time getting upset about, but it wasn't like it was understandable. Like I feel like in a different written movie, she would come off way more like aggravating, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as people were making out when it first came out. Um, I would say despite a lot of the good, I did like the stuff with Bond and Madeline, and the cinematography was excellent. Like I was like surprised how fast this movie moved. Like all of it was like, oh my God, wait, what, what? Like it moved really well, which I was surprised by. It moved like this. I think this one is the best paced out of all the Craig movies. Um, which, if you've seen all my others, the pacing with movies is a big thing for me. And the fact that this one moved really fast, but like still kept my attention the whole time was really good. Especially given that it's what 2 hours and yeah, 2 hours and 43 minutes. Having it feel like it keeps moving is a good thing. Um, I feel like it only kind of starts to get like at the very end, like the last 10 minutes, where you're just like, oh my gosh. Um, but that's kind of expected. There is stuff I do not like about this movie. And that kind of comes down to the script changes. Before I get too far into that, please, I know some of you like my stuff, some of you do. So it'd be very helpful if you like my videos, comment on it, share it, subscribe if you're not subscribed, all of that. Thank you. Now, the things that I didn't really like about this movie does, like I said, come down to the script changes and story changes. This does have a lot of different writers on it. Um, I don't think a full remake of Doctor No would have been good at this point. It would have been interesting. It definitely would have been interesting to have like a remake, like a book accurate remake begin his series and a book accurate remake end the series. That would have been interesting. But given that the book Doctor No's plan involves bird poo, I'm not 100% sure it would fly. uh, but having it be like the son and kind of just hint like, oh yeah, my father was a scientist who blah blah blah, and then we'd be like, oh okay, cool. Like that would have been interesting. I feel like that would have been fine. The plan is the issue. So two things. One, Rami Malek's character's age is odd because he looks significantly younger than Madeline Bond. Not so much Madeline, but he looks around the same age as Madeline, except the movie begins with him attacking Madeline's house, and he looks roughly the same age, maybe. And we don't see his face, but like, he looks about the same. And Madeline's a kid then. So it's a little odd in that sense. I feel like, I don't know, something like they could have gotten an older actor and it would have been fine. He was okay. Like he's definitely one of the more memorable villains for me, at least not in terms of presence, but in terms of delivery. Um, he did have that presence, but like there was that like kind of. I think best way to describe it is he's probably for me the second or third most, probably this. No, he's not the most memorable Craig Bond villain, but he has the. It's a very close toss up between him and Silva as the one with the most aura, I would say. And that comes down more to the actors and their vibes. However, the thing is his plan doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it begins off with him just like, okay, he's getting rid of all of Spectre and their family as revenge. Fair enough. Fine. Perfect. They could have been like, oh crap, Spectre has a ton of family members who are innocent. We need to save them. By the way, also Madeline and Mahilda, like the daughter, like that would have been fine. Perfect. But no, his plan then switches to I'm going to kill millions upon millions of people all over the world, get rid of racism, apparently. Like, it just comes out of nowhere in the last, like, hours. I was like, wait a minute, what? How did this go from Spectre Revenge to the whole world? Like that, like I get it, we need another villain to just want to destroy the world. But I feel like if like Spectre was big enough and also, engulfed Quantum as well, um, because Quantum was part of Spectre, like they would have enough innocent family members that he could have targeted. I feel like just having that would have been fine, but and it would have made more sense. Sorry. But I think that's my biggest issue was that. Oh yeah, the the henchmen. So you got your normal thing. You got the tough one with the weird robo eye. I feel like they were trying to go with like a Jaws kind of thing to like oh, we remember him. Um, but he didn't really do much. I actually thought he was defeated earlier when Madeline threw the tea at him. But then you have the scientist, the smart one, the doctor. He filled his role fine. His death was fun. But the interesting one was mm, I know his name, but I don't know his name. Do 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 do. Billy Magnuson. He's fun. He has like kind of like the obvious twist villain, like betrayer kind of guy. He was fun. I like him. Um, his death was brutal. There was a couple brutal deaths in this one, like getting crushed by the car and then the acid bath thing was that was pretty dark. Yeah, that was okay. Uh, oh, and the eyeball thing. Like all three of those guys, all three of those got brutal deaths. Uh, it's like okay, dang God, you try to outdo Dalton on this one. Um, yeah, so it being kind of the remake of all of these movies, I felt really worked. Like this one, I don't want to say it's my favorite, but it's definitely like the most effective out of all of them. Um, I think it's because I went in with like zero expectations because I didn't really like Spectre. Spectre on a second watch was a little bit better than I remember. Skyfall was worse than I remember. Quantum was better than I remember, or about the same as I liked. Casino was worse than I remember. So like this one like stood on its own because I knew the ending, but not much else. And it was good. I liked how it was. It did, yeah. Like I said, like the ending was a little on that rough side because I do feel like they added in like a different plot line and a story at the end there. I remember people being upset by Blofeld's death in this, which is interesting to me because Blofeld in the original movies, while he was there, like he wasn't huge. Like beyond, ironically enough, You Only Live Twice with Donald Pleasance, he barely appeared. The Charles Gray version was ridiculous, and the Terry Savalas one, while good, he's not the one that I would call as like the standout from On Her Majesty's. Um, but also, in what was it? Which one was it? Octopussy? I think it was. It's been forever. The one where he gets dropped down the smokestack. Like, he's like, yeah, his death in that's way worse than this. This one actually kind of makes sense. I do like how they worked that in. I'm going to do a video on how I would have done the Craig movies different. More so with the implementation of Quantum Inspector and stuff, because I feel like they could have handled that better. Um, oh, one last thing before I sign off. The thing I really did like, there was a part that I really did like. Well, I liked most of it. There's a bit where M is sitting in this hallway and he's looking at a picture of Judi Dench. And you're like, oh, okay, neat. And then I'll probably have to rewatch the scene to see, but the main M for Connery, because there was a couple M's, but like the main other M that people remember, I don't remember the name of. Uh, Let me see. Let's go with the no balls. First one that popped in my head. Um, Bernard Lee. There's a picture of Bernard Lee there, which I was thinking, is like, oh, it'd be cool. Right when I saw it, like before I saw him, that'd be cool if they had the other M's there, kind of as a little reference. And anyway, in the corner there, you see painting of Bernard Lee. That's fun. And this whole movie did feel kind of like an answer to um, uh, Die Another Day. But like Die Another Day was where Bond just eventually retires. And this one, he dies, but it's the same. Like we're referencing, we're doing a lot of like this is the end kind of thing, um, which I get. I like. Yeah, no, I really liked this one. This one's it's like I said, it's gonna be interesting when I rank these. I'm gonna be curious on how this falls. But that's all I got, at least of the main movies. So I got probably three main videos left to look forward to. Ranking of the Craig movies, ranking of all the movies. Well, actually, maybe four. Ranking of the actors, and the short one of how I would change how the Craig story went. So, four main ones to look forward to. See ya.